well enough to win it. Of course, we got into the position to win it, but overall, really fighting performance from us. We improved a lot after 30 minutes. So in the end, we take what we get.
You were clearly concerned when you changed it. What did you see you didn't like the look of, and what were you looking to alter there?
Well, we just couldn't really I didn't feel we get enough control of the game. Probably need an extra body in midfield to try and put a bit more pressure on, to try and create some more turnovers, to try and win the ball. So to have a bit more control of the game, really. So, like I said, I thought we were better after that. But in the end, disappointed to drop the points. But again, another battling, hard-fought game. Boys gave everything, you can see that. We can improve a lot in terms of our attacking play because we can create a bit more, I think. But again, we're playing against a good side.
You said beforehand this isn't about the coaches, but did it in fact turn out to be quite a tactical game?
Well, there's a few adjustments and things. Obviously, that's our job to do that, to try and see the game and try and help, see if we can help the players. But I thought the players' attitude on the pitch was fantastic from our perspective. Boys gave, like I said, gave everything. It's a hard, intense match in the middle of a really busy period, but the boys left everything there, so that's a great foundation for us.
Did you think it was a penalty when it was given?
Well, I'm too far away, and I think the guys on looking at the monitors thought it was, so I listened to them. They're not always right, but I was happy when it went.
And the equaliser, is that one we just have to say it's a magnificent header? There's nothing you can do about it?
Well, we could have got out a bit more connected, but again, it's a good header, great header. Kept us unlucky a little bit. He could have only just got in, I think. That's our first goal we conceded for a while, but we're disappointed, of course, because it's dropped us 2 points. But in the end, we have to take the positives and appreciate the work the team did, but improvements to be made as well.
I think the majority of the teams, of course, in the Premier League, because that's the coach that he is. That's what I think is in his mind as well. He wants to play attractive football, dominating football at times as well, going forward, scoring goals. That is what he's been trying to do with smaller teams even. And imagine now at Chelsea with this group of players. And also maybe, when the transfer window opens up again, adding maybe a couple of other players as well. He's going to do, I think, very well. The only thing for him, and that's the difference between the other two, well, the other clubs that he's been, and with Chelsea as well, is to manage all these players and also bigger players within the squad to keep them happy and to also keep them working hard for him, even when they're not playing, like what happens sometimes at other clubs.
Jaap's just said if he gets time. That's always the big question, isn't it, at Chelsea, if you're Chelsea manager?
It's the same at any club these days, I think. Getting time is the biggest problem. Look, I think today it's shown that Potter got his team wrong. About having to make a change after half an hour. I think Ten Hag got it tactically right in the first half, especially with Fernandes coming into that midfield. He made it a 3-against-2, and Chelsea couldn't really cope with that. I think Chelsea, as a top 4 team, as a team who's aspiring to be up towards the top of the league, I thought they were a little bit disappointing today. I think they should be the team at home trying to win the game, and I never really felt uncomfortable. I never felt like Chelsea were creating chances. I never felt like they were going to score. So you probably got et up in a bit of a tactical battle and really forgot about doing the things that win games of football, which is, because obviously creating chances, scoring goals. I think he worried about everything else rather than that. And as a United fan, I was more than happy with United. I thought more than deserved to win the game. And I just never felt like it was in trouble. I thought Ten Hag got everything right. Other than the subs, I wasn't mad keen on the subs. I think Fred come into the game, didn't really have an effect on the game. I think it ruined Fernandes as well. McTominay obviously come on and sub, and within 4 minutes, was it? He gave the penalty away. And you've got to learn with stuff. In a day of VAR, you cannot touch him anymore. The years gone by when we could have done it in Italy. You know what it was like in Italy. You could never move. There was people grabbing you. The VAR, you just can't do it. You don't get away with anything. So I think it was a victory for Ten Hag today. OK, they didn't win the game, but I thought tactically he got it spot on.
OK, victory for Ten Hag. Paul says, let's hear now from the Manchester United manager.
Oh, yeah, I think it was a good game, brilliant game. 2 teams who I think are close together. But in the first half, I think we dominated the game. And that was also, I think, why the opponent, why they switched the system. And then it's going to be a little bit more difficult for us. And that we saw especially defense-wise in the last minutes of the first half. But before that, I think we had to get up. Good chances, Rashford twice, Anthony, one-on-ones even with the keeper. So in this moment, you have to use your chances. The second half, I think it was ego. It was a battle between two games or same height. And in the end, I think then a point that is, I think, justified.
As a coach, is that your frustration that you didn't take those chances when you had the measure of Chelsea, particularly in the first half?
Yeah, especially. The team has to feel that you have to finish. And because we were dictating the game, and they played really good in that stage of the game. Defense, but offense, we find the free man in the midfield. We created good chances, and then you have to use them.
When you made your substitutions in the second half, what were you looking to affect?
Now, first of all, it was the fourth game in 10 days, and then you see the one or the other. It's getting, they get fatigue, and either in the head or physical, and then you bring freshness in. And already we make the transfer from in the second half, straight after the second half. We adapt to the system from them, and I think we did it well. Defense, offense, we were not that good on the ball in the second half. We had to bring more switches in. We didn't find the spare man anymore in the midfield, and there was spare man, and especially our fullbacks could have done more with those situations.
Were they attacking substitutions you were trying to make in your mind?
It were attacking options. It were solutions to win this game, to get more dominant in the game. By the first, when we brought in Fred, there was, I think, to bring out Bruno, to get him between the lines, and hopefully we create spaces behind. And then we made also with Scott and with Anthony Elanga, tightness of Marcus Rashford, and also Christian Eriksen. It was a tough game in the second stage of the second half, and you could see big spaces in the midfield. And there Scott McTominay is good. He has power. He can win duels. He has a good press, and he has the power also, attacking-wise, to come in the box, and that have we seen last week against our opponent in the Europa League.
One of the downsides for Erik ten Hag and Manchester United today was the injury to Rafa Varane, who, of course, went off in that second half. He has since said they are waiting for a diagnosis, but he clearly looked a stress yap when he came off the pitch.
Yeah, he was very emotional, you know, and you know, if the game, you know, even here they played on, and he fell down, and he just, you know, kept laying on the pitch basically, and then after when he stood up, he was emotional, and looked like when I saw it that he had a problem with the hamstring or whatever, but of course, well, we don't know yet. But it's, yeah, I don't know what to say about this. You know, it's probably things that, you know, ahead of the World Cup or whatever, but I can't understand being so emotional on the pitch, to be honest.
From a centre-half's point of view.
Well, no, it's not only from a centre-half. I know you're trying to imagine yourself in why is the player that emotional, and why is he acting like that? I think there are like other things that well,
unless he
that are worse than this, I think. But
unless he realised it was something serious.
Well, yeah, that could be, but I don't know. Yeah,
he's already won the World Cup, hasn't he?
Yeah,
He'll be all right.
He wants to win another one.
He'll get over it.
He wants to win another one.
He'll be all right. But United won missing though. That's the point.
Since he signed, they've conceded twice as many goals with him out of the team in the Premier League as when he's in. That's not a coincidence.
No, he's a big miss. We know we're talking before and about 1v1 defenders.
Yeah, he's a good.
He's capable of that. I think in his top physical condition a few years ago, he was up there with the likes of Yap and Rio. I'm not sure he's quite at that level now. He's picking up a lot of injuries, but he's the one centre half you'd fancy one-on-one. The rest of them, do you think Lindelof's going to come in quite slow? Maguire, we know the troubles he's had. We know Martinez isn't a 1v1 defender, so you wonder how that will affect the team, especially in the middle of the pitch, because you'd be thinking he'll have to play two holding players to try and protect whatever's behind him.
Yeah, because that's been some partnership, hasn't it? materialising for Varane and Martinez?
It has, yeah, but we just don't see it enough, do we? Because unfortunately he's at the stage of his career now where he seems to be picking up a lot of injuries.
Talking of missing, Erik ten Hag was still asked about Cristiano Ronaldo after the game, again. Do you see him back in the squad straight away next weekend? What would you like to see happen here with this situation?
I have the feeling that's my feeling, that, you know, with this happening, that Erik is thinking as well a little bit further ahead in terms of using other players. Well, he already used other players more than Ronaldo, of course, but now even more, because something like this stays in the back of your head, doesn't it? If it happens, and you know, and not like it's fair to do so, but it's the whole situation that's been going on between United and Ronaldo. Is it the manager and Ronaldo, the choices that the manager made? Him not playing, he wants to play. We all know that if he stayed at the club in the beginning of this season, that he wants to play, and it's. And I think that's normal, because that's how he is. You know, he's up and top. He's professional. He wants to score goals. He wants to play. If he's not being used, he doesn't feel part probably of the team. Is not being happy, which is normal as well, because I think at this level, you need to be a player that wants to play every game, wants to make every minute. And with this happening, walking off the pitch, not wanting to come on, yeah, you're creating a little bit more within the club probably as well. And
do you think if he apologises, he'll let him back in?
Well, probably he let him back into the squad, because maybe he's thinking that he needs him, but and other players want him as well. But is that enough? After doing so, if a manager tells you what you need to come on, or you're a manager and one of your players is saying, you want to bring him on, and he's saying, no, I'm not going to come on, and he's walking off the pitch, he goes into the dressing room and goes home. You're thinking as a manager, well, next time I'm gonna use you and bring you on in front of other young players, maybe who are like working also very hard. And maybe not having this quality of Ronaldo, but
I think a lot depends on if he apologizes first. That will be the first step, and then you know, his attitude when he goes back in training. If he goes back in training with the right attitude and he wants to, you know, gain his position in the right way, I think everyone would appreciate, and I'm sure he will have his chances again.
I don't think his attitude will be a problem. He's, you know, we know what he's like as a professional. I know he released a little bit of a statement yesterday. It wasn't an apology, more of a statement saying he got things wrong. And I think if he apologised, he'll be back in. I feel sorry for the last few United managers, really. They've always had a big player in the background that's always had a bit of an enigma with him. You think of Pogba for so many years, there was always a problem there. He's come in now, he's got the problem of Ronaldo always in the background, and it's distracting from his team and what he wants to do. The big problem he also has, he's still United's best finisher. So at times he's going to have to play. You think if he's coming on that game today, last 20 minutes, and they're getting the ball in the box, small pitch at Chelsea, I think could suit him. There wouldn't be as much running to get around the pitch. He will still be handed for them to get points. And there's Europa League as well, where he wants to rest players, he wants to rest Marcus Rashford, he won't want him to play every game. And that's ideal for Cristiano. I don't know whether Cristiano settles for that role. He's got no choice. If he wants to play for United and have a part or a role in United, as Jaap said, at the start of the season, this role should have been defined, and then it was up to Cristiano whether he stayed or went. Now, it's the same situation. He will have to accept playing not in the big games, possibly last 20 minutes in big games, but in probably these Europa League games. He's got to accept that. At 37, 38 years of age, a lot of us would accept it. He won't. He believes he should be playing.
How difficult is that when you've been such a good player to do what Paul's saying, Gianfranco? I mean, I know you were a substitute and used a handful of times, shall we say it?
Well, it's not easy, because obviously when you are such a big player, don't forget we are talking about one of the best players ever, one of the best strikers ever. So, and the reason why he's one of the best strikers ever is because also his personality, his character, the way he handles things, the way he takes things. He is very competitive. He wants to play all the time. I can understand that. If you are not that, you don't play until you are 37, 38. Probably is one of the fuels that he's got inside. So you have to be respectful for that. But having said that, he also has to understand that there is a team and there is a club, and nobody can be bigger than the club. So this is something that I'm sure Cristiano will will consider. And
it's
and
going
we'll
to be, yeah, and I still, because you keep thinking about it, but it's difficult for him because he is Ronaldo, you know, he is his personality, and he acts how he wants as well, because he thinks he needs to do so as well, because it's in his right probably as well, because in how he is as a player as well. But does he then now need to go into the club and make apologies and everything, and then, you know, as long as he stays there, he needs to change his personality as well for everybody?
I'm not sure that apology is coming though. I don't know.
Well, no,
I'm not sure.
I'm not, but it's always something that stays there, you know, because probably a new manager comes in, he doesn't know him as well, he's working with him for only like a couple of months.
You have to remember the young players he's got in the squad who look up to him. A lot of them young players, he's their hero.
Yeah.
So to see him then walking off, I think he'll come. I think he might apologise. I won't put money on it, but I've got a feeling he might apologise.
I think
he'll realise 2 or 3 nights sleep. You think that's wrong. That's not the Chris. That's not the way I want to be remembered at this club, and not remembered by all the kids who are going to watch him, the kids who worship him, who are playing with him. Look, I hope he does, and I hope he.
No, we all do, because we all like him very much as a player from the beginning of the season. We all, and maybe if we were managers of United, we would have said we play him more often than what happened now. But the manager, of course, is making certain decisions now, and of course, okay, when did he take him off last week as well? Then the reaction of him as well, you know, and that of course doesn't give people the expression as well that he's really into it, whatever, or he's been appreciated by the manager as well, you know, so that doesn't work for him as well. So it's a difficult situation, but hopefully he still can be very important for the club, for United, for the team, to help the team, you know, to go to a certain level, and that's what we're all thinking about. But it's becoming a very difficult situation, I think, for him, but also for the club.
Guess what? I don't think it's the last discussion we'll have about Cristiano Ronaldo. Refused to come on as a substitute and then go down the tunnel. He is not in the squad. We are watching this one with Jaap Stam, Gianfranco Zola and Paul Scholes, and even though he's not here, he's still the talking point. Jaap, how did your fellow Dutchman deal with that situation, Erik ten Hag?
I think he did quite well. You know, at the moment when you're walking off the pitch, you can, well, he knows, Ronaldo as well, that there are consequences to doing so. So it's going to be difficult for a coach, well, sometimes to handle that as well, but he needs to. You know, he needs to show to the team as well, and also it's a little bit, well, disrespectful to the coach as well by walking off the pitch. So I think he did well. I think the big question for me is, how is it handled before, you know, from the start of this season with Ronaldo? Because there's always the talking point of Ronaldo if he's not playing.
What's your view on it? How would you feel if you were a current United player seeing this in the week?
It's difficult, Steve.
Would you have gone and spoken to him after it?
No, not really, because he's a senior player now. He's 37, is he 37, 38 years of age. I can understand why he's done it. Not why he's walked off. I think that bit is totally wrong. I can understand why he's refused to go on, because I think as a substitute, you're angry already. You've been left out of the team. You're wanting to start. You want to have an effect on the game. So you're angry already. You're in a bad mood already. And then you're thinking through the game. Look, if it's not going well, can I come on with half an hour to change the game? Like happened at City a few weeks ago when the manager said it was disrespectful to bring him on. That was a time when I thought, yeah, I'm Cristiano Ronaldo. I come on, I change this game. But his manager didn't think so. So it got to the last 2 minutes, and the game was won. The game was comfortable. It's not a substitute for an experienced player. I don't think any of us would have been happy with it. I'm not saying we'd have refused to go on and walked off, but we would not have been happy with it. So I can understand why he's angry and why he refused to go on, but to walk off, I think, was wrong.
Well, not that you three were ever on the bench very much, I have to say, in your career. But Gianfranco, have you ever experienced anything like that?
Yes, of course. I was on the bench and I never liked it. And so I tried to put myself in the same situation. And I can understand his anger, his frustration, how they've been in the same situation. That doesn't justify what he did, of course, because he was wrong. But from his point of view, he felt like he was disrespectful to be asked to go on the pitch with 2 minutes to go and the team having won the game practically. I think that's why he reacted like that, which is wrong, I repeat, but I can understand his point of view.
Well, I think it's clear. I think every top player, there's every player, if you're being asked to come on the last couple of minutes, then everybody was thinking like, okay, why do I need to go on now the last couple of minutes while it's already 2-0? You know, I can't make a change. I can't do anything. The thing I think the biggest thing is, the most important thing is, I think, for Ronaldo to walk off. And being disrespectful to the coach, to the team as well, to everybody more or less. And he knows, of course, by doing so, what the consequences are, that something is going to happen. You know, maybe he's going to force something as well by doing so. I still find it very difficult for me as well, because I like Ronaldo as a player. I like in what he's done. He's a great player, great professional, fantastic goal scorer. I still think you can use him within United at the moment as well to be very important for you. But still, I think with a player like that, you need to, from the start of the season, you need to have a good conversation. Probably they had a conversation, but you need to also be very clear to him in what you want as a manager and what you expect from this particular player, how you're going to be playing, eventually where you want to go to, and see if you can come to an agreement. And if not, if he's not feeling well in doing so, or he's not agreeing with the plan of the new coach, then maybe you need to find a solution and saying, okay, maybe we need to separate ways and only go with the players that we have or bring somebody else in.
The only trouble with that, I totally agree with you, the only trouble, it didn't turn up for pre-season. It was 2 or 3 weeks late, so that was still very obvious that he wanted to leave the football club, and he doesn't fit into the way Erik wants to play. The problem with Cristiano's, not the problem, but I think most of us, when we got to 37 years of age, we almost accepted that, you know, it's going to be a bit part role at times. Cristiano doesn't see that. He will not see that. He's so fit, he's so lean. He still thinks he should be playing every single game. And after what he did last season, he's probably got half a point. But with a new manager, he doesn't fit into the way he's played. I think the manager made that quite clear. Now the problem is, where does he go? Who can afford to pay his wages for the next 6 months?
But that's the reason why probably is Ronaldo, because of his character or his personality. So you need to accept him the way he is.